Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt, over 23 locations in the state of Mississippi. When you see a Fleetway Market, you know that is a Mississippi-owned company. Great place to fuel up, and of course, they've got cold beer and snacks. But let me tell you, the food in Gluckstadt's amazing. You know, I mean, unbelievable lunch, and the breakfast biscuits grab and go this morning, but then the lunch is fabulous. The Market Cafe's got places to sit. Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt, and over 23 locations in the state of Mississippi. The new one in Clinton is 24/7 Fleetway Market in Clinton. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We welcome in our friend Steve Robertson, who just spent like 20 hours at Dudy Noble Field over the weekend for the 3-game series in which Mississippi State swept the Delaware Blue Hens. And also, Steve Robertson is not going to miss a game. They're 8-0. And what do you think, Steve? Are you fired up about this baseball team?
Yeah, I am. And, they've pretty much, things have gone to script at this point. But like everybody, I mean, nobody's perfect at this point in the year. There's obviously some adjustments you got to make as you go. And I like how Brian O'Connor is handling this because, you won 8 games, but it's been with a variety of combinations, right, on the pitching side and on the positional side. So he's seeing, who he can trust. And, as 2 more weeks will be an SEC play, and so they'll take the balance of the next 2 weeks and kind of figure that out. And I suspect, when you get into the Lipscomb series, you'll probably have a really good idea of who the regular 9 will be.
All right. Look, they've done what they're supposed to do, right? And like you said, and winning is winning. It doesn't matter how it looks. You just want to stack W's. And that's what they've done. And you mentioned they played a lot of people. And they're trying to figure out the mound and like you said, the lineup and so on. We know X amount are going to be good to go in the lineup. But he did mention and you know about it and everybody knows about it, the lack of experience on the mound. And it was a little bit about Charlie Foster, but just the whole group, the group as a whole, the unit. What's your takeaway on? I mean, look, experience wins, as you know, Steve, and all these. I mean, everybody's trying to get really old, and that's not easy to do. But where are you as far as how it's looked on the mound? They've still got time to get experience, but he referenced the fact that they don't have a lot of experience on the mound.
Yeah, and he said, way back in the summer, we're going to have to grow up on the mound pretty quick, and we feel like we had a good fall. And I think right now you feel like Ryan McPherson and Tomas Valenkas, you feel like, hey, we've got that shorn up. We feel very confident on Friday, Saturday. Charlie Foster's had some good moments and had some not so good moments, and he's a very, very talented guy. And that's what experience gets you, is confidence. And it's like you think about yesterday. I mean, he gets a 1-2-3 inning, looks like he's going to get another one, and then you whiff on a ground ball. Well, then he kind of blows up mentally, walks a couple of guys, gives up a hit, and then you have to come out there and get him. He's got to be able to power through that. And so the good thing is you don't have to just keep riding with that. You see Duke Stone kind of emerging. He could be a possibility on Sunday against UCLA, if that's the route that Brian O'Connor chooses to take. But that's what depth gives you. Depth gives you options, and Mississippi State has a lot of options on the pitching mound and positionally.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports, his podcast, the Boneyard Podcast. He was there all weekend. And are you heading to Arlington on Thursday?
Yeah. Game first pitch Friday is 11 a.m. So, that's a little bit too early in the day to try to drive up on game day. So we'll get there Thursday afternoon, kind of get settled and get ready to go cover a ball game pretty early. And it's kind of, if you're going to have a free Friday night, it's a cool place to be, right? Out there in the middle of VFW. And we'll get to see some other SEC teams play. And I enjoy going to these events just because of the fact that a lot of national college baseball media is there too. But more importantly, you get the opportunity to kind of measure yourself before you get into SEC play. And competition makes everybody better. And State's going to see some really good competition this weekend.
Yeah, Arizona State, Tech, and UCLA. They got Austin Peay before. Steve Robertson, you remember more than I do. Was it 2 years ago they lost twice to Austin Peay and that cost them the regional, or was it Lemonis' last year? I don't remember. Which one was it?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
In both of those games, State lost in come from behind fashion. That's the thing. It's like you had the first one happen, think, oh, I can't believe this is happening, and then it happened again the next day. And that was a team that had 27 transfers, and the majority of them were from the Power Four. And I'm going to speak with Coach Fanning later this morning for a piece that we'll run later today, just kind of previewing the game. But you go up and looking down that roster again this year, a lot of former P4 players, and Austin Peay is kind of carved out a niche, I guess, in their conference is kind of being transfer U in that respect. And so, they're 4-3 right now. They had to kind of figure some things out over the weekend themselves, but they're going to come in here looking to find an RPI climbing opportunity, because it's basically a one bid league, right? I mean, you remember they had that great year 2 years ago and then got upset in their conference tournament and then didn't make it. And so they're going to come in here ready to play, and State's going to have to do the same.
All right, Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. O'Connor's team is 8-0, and they'll play Austin Peay tomorrow, and then they'll go to Arlington for the 3-game series that Steve just referenced, which is super fun. There are a ton of Mississippi State people either out there that are going or going to the game, because people have been hitting me up for a month or so now. All right, I'm getting text on the text line, so let's start with this one, Steve. A couple of our listeners want to know, how do you feel about the middle infield?
Well, on the right side of the infield, I feel pretty good. Most of our errors have come on the left side, not just the shortstop. And there's been a couple of those plays that weren't ruled errors that I would have ruled errors. You get a little benefit of the hometown, scoring in some respects. But Ryder Woodson hadn't played a ton of college baseball, and he's finding barrels when he hits, and he's had a few balls fall here as of late. But you got to be better, especially at short. And there's been a couple plays that he's made deep in the hole that were very impressive. But this weekend he whipped on a couple of somewhat routine ground balls. And Ace had a big error, but then bounces back and gets a 5-4-3 double play to get out of it. And so I think some of that is just settling the lineup will help a good bit. But, Drew Wires is a guy that gives you some options at shortstop too. And so I just trust Brian O'Connor to get that figured out.
I do too. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. Who is the like wow surprise for you 8 games in?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because it's a different guy every day, I guess.
Yeah.
I think maybe Andrew Raymond, the catcher, transferred in from George Mason. Maluski was the opening day starter, and he hadn't played in over a week. And Andrew Raymond is a guy that I think defensively has been the better of the three, and I think offensively he has been really good. So I think Andrew Raymond probably gets a couple starts this weekend. Now, Maluski was scheduled to pinch hit when Blake Beavis walked it off in Game 2, but Maluski's a guy that hit 18 tanks last year. You're really excited to get him. You knew defensively, he wasn't maybe elite. You thought he was really good, but you really go get him for the bat. And I think Raymond is a guy that maybe has jumped out a little bit. But as far as returning guys, Garrick Fry doesn't even seem like the same player. He was getting by last year on just athleticism because he played third base for 2 years at North Alabama, jumps into the lineup last year as a left fielder just to find a way to get his bat in the order. But I think he's been really good at second. And that just kind of goes to show you what a lot of practice reps will do for you. But that's been a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Fry's my favorite player. And he is athletic. That's been a ton of fun. So you think this catcher thing you think at the end of the day they're going to be rotating 2 guys, or do you think he wants to play one guy 90% of the time, Steve?
It's just difficult to do that. More times than not, you're gonna split it up, and you'll have a guy catching the midweek, and then maybe on Sunday or perhaps on Saturday. But as you get deeper into this thing, I mean, you got to have your best bats in the order. And you remember a couple of years ago, it was Johnny Long and Joe Powell after Ross went down. And by the end of the year, it was Johnny doing the bulk of the catching, but his body just kind of wore down on it. But he could barely get the ball out of the infield, because he was just physically exhausted. And so you want to share that workload a little bit. So I feel confident it'll probably settle on two guys fairly regularly. And and maybe Sean James is your midweek catcher, as a younger guy, kind of bringing him along. But it's the good thing is that State's not in a position where if one guy begins to struggle, they have to just stick with him.
McPherson looked damn good over the weekend, didn't he?
He did, and it's so interesting too. He has a career high in pitches thrown and strikeouts, and there really aren't more competitive guys on that team than Ryan McPherson. There's a lot of guys that are as competitive, but McPherson is a guy that'll go out there and get after you. And I thought he was good in Week 1 against Hofstra. I thought he was great this past weekend against Delaware, and Thomas Valenkas now has had 2 starts and hadn't given up a run yet. And I thought one of the big moments of the series is you get bases loaded, nobody out, and then he gets out of it without surrendering a run. That hadn't always been the case at State. You always think, okay, they're going to score here. We just got to mitigate the damage as much as we can. And so having McPherson and Valenkas be among your 2 most competitive guys, I think bodes well for the future.
All right, if Charlie Foster, if they make it, what do you think this weekend? They give him one more outing? If not, who do you think is knocking on the door? Who's number 1 knocking on the door for that spot?
Well, O'Connor said yesterday he wasn't ready to talk about making a change, and that's something they'll do over the week. You're going to be playing the number 1 team in the country on Friday. And you got to wonder what that would do to Charlie Foster's confidence if you send him out there and he has another subpar outing. I think Duke Stone is another one of those highly competitive guys, and he's got 2 wins already in 3 appearances. And I think that makes a ton of sense if you decide to go that route, because this is about winning ball games. And Charlie Foster is going to win a lot at Mississippi State, but he's got to decide if he's ready to be a weekend starter. And it's not just what happens in inter-squads, it's what happens in real games. And so, we can root for all the kids. We don't have to pick and choose, but it'll be up to Justin Parker and Brian O'Connor to finalize that rotation. But as we've said, just about every point, they've got options, and that hadn't always been the case.
Steve Robertson, 247 Sports, Gene's Page on the Out of Bounds show. Tell me about O'Connor. I love listening to him in the post game. I'm sure you do too. We played a bunch of audio earlier from your stuff. So talk about what I know it's only 8 games. I know you were around him in the fall, but what are you picking up on? I mean, he's so direct, but he's also really good. I mean, Cohen as a baseball coach was super intense and great, in the post game too. But what's your read, and tell me what you're thinking as you've now covered 8 post-game press conferences, Steve?
Well, rigorous honesty. Just like he makes the comment answering one of my questions. I didn't ask this question specifically, but that tells me it was a point that he wanted to make. As Andrew Raymond throws his hand up and as the ball bounces off the wall, and Ryder Woodson hits one to left field and goes off a guy's glove, and he didn't run out of the box, and Brian O'Connor says we're going to respect the game, and that kind of behavior is not going to be acceptable here. I mean, this is a guy that just won a game 10-0, and he's out here talking about, hey, this is what we expect from our players. That's what winners do, right? And we've had this adage many times that you can't accept in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat. I think Brian O'Connor is a guy that is always looking for that teachable moment, where you never really can relax, right? I mean, you can be comfortable and be confident, but you can't ever just say, okay, well, that's no big deal. We won the game 10-0. Now, you've always got to find a way to truly improve, and I think that's what makes Brian O'Connor such a winner, is that he's not just going to be satisfied with just the result. The process still matters.
All right. Arizona State, Virginia Tech, UCLA. I mean, how much fun is this going to be? I I saw the back and forth between you and the media and BOC yesterday, and he talked about kind of setting the table for the SEC. How big is it this weekend to try to get – you're not going to get everything ironed out, Steve, as you know, but how big is it for BOC and Justin Parker and the crew this weekend as the SEC is around the corner?
Well, I think one of the best things is you get a dress rehearsal, right? And then you'll have next weekend, to have Lipscomb to kind of settle things. And I think that's really what happens. I think once you go into Lipscomb, you're going to have a really good idea of maybe who the dozen position players or so that you're going to count on each weekend. And I think that's the group that gets the majority of the play next weekend. And I think this weekend is kind of that dividing line, right? It's like, okay, this is going to be SEC quality competition, and we're going to throw some guys to the fire. But I don't think you're going to see a ton of mixing and matching unless it's just pitcher specific, right? I mean, you'll make some adjustments in your lineup as things go. But he's not just going to run a bunch of guys up there this weekend just for the fun of it. He's going to try to go win the baseball games. But I think this weekend, in many respects, is a great litmus test. But you also have that weekend to kind of readjust next weekend. But, yeah, this is a huge one for sure. And not just the fact, too, that it's Arizona State and UCLA and Virginia Tech in the middle. It's that this is what Mississippi State can learn about itself to position itself to be successful in the SEC.
Absolutely. GenesPage.com, 247 Sports. Steve, we appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we'll see you soon.
Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Somebody just asked, it's Arizona State Friday on the Golden Moon Casino text line. So you've Arizona State, then Virginia Tech, then UCLA on Sunday, which is exciting. We went over the Ole Miss schedule. They'll play Baylor on Friday, Ohio State on Saturday, and Jackson and I talked about it. They'll play Coastal Carolina on Sunday. That's the Ole Miss lineup in Houston. And again, Mississippi State is Arizona State, Virginia Tech, UCLA. So that's a ton of fun. Southern Miss just went on the road, and they won all three of their games over Purdue, Oregon State, then Baylor. Purdue, Oregon State, and then Baylor. Dogs, Rebs undefeated. Southern Miss only one loss. This is going to be a ton of fun to see this all play out. Your team is going to lose. I know I can't wait for the meltdown especially the Mississippi State side, because you're just in a fragile spot. Football has been so bad, and then men's basketball was disappointing. So I can tell y'all are all in freak out mode. But it's also fun to win, and you're 8-0. And, just like Jackson Meadows doing his thing at Mount Salus. Did you say you got robbed at Porter's Chapel? Or did you
robbed by the ump?
Oh, he called a foul ball.
It was foul.
It was?
It was. I tried to sell it.
Of course you did.
As much as you got. I mean, I was rounding second.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. I took off. I knew it was out. I just didn't know if it'd be foul or fair.
Okay.
They got a monster out there, man. It's like Fenway.
Ah.
They got a big boy fence out there.
I like it.
You put one over the big fence, you feel real good.
Are you getting ready to play Major League Baseball fantasy?
Where
do you play?
ESPN.
Okay.
Same place.
How many people do you play with?
9 others.
So it's 10 people.
10 of us. We've been playing for 13, 14 years.
What is it, $100 a piece?
Yeah, probably something like that, 50, 100. It's a long season, man.
Okay.
Some people just don't want to, they don't.
So you win $500 to $1,000.
Yeah.
Have you ever won it?
Yes. Yes, I've won it one time in 13, 14 years. It's incredibly hard to win.
Oh, I can only imagine how difficult it is.
It's difficult to win that thing.
Okay.
But it's always competitive.
Do you win through pitching or hitting? Like, what's the lead? What drives a win?
Hitting.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so it's categories. Like you go head to head, and you have statistical categories, right? Like,
do you go like head to head for a week or like every game?
1 week.
Okay.
So you got a week. I'll have my starters, and I'll rotate them and whatever, whoever pitches and hits and whatnot. But at the end of it, it's who has more hits, RBIs, home runs in your categories versus that other person.
Okay.
So it's it's situational, just like baseball.
Yes, it is. Baseball is very situational.
You got to know it.
Hell yes, it is.
You're pitching. You got to maximize your pitching, your pickups. It's intense. It really is.
Okay.
It's the most intense fantasy thing ever.
I don't think I've ever played. I couldn't follow something like that.
It is tough.
What, they play 6 days a week?
Yeah,
roughly.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Who's your favorite player in Major League Baseball right now?
Ooh, it's going to be Shohei because he's on my fantasy team.
Okay.
And he's been there.
Who's another one? Who's somebody else that you
non-fantasy team
that you really, really like?
I love Bryce.
Okay.
I love him. That's my dog.
Isn't he overrated?
No.
Okay.
Why would he be overrated?
I just wanted to throw that out to you and see what your reaction was.
No, and then we're gonna be a big Pirates fan this year. They actually do.
Jake Mangum, Connor Griffin.
Yep.
Among others.
Well, they actually do have one of my favorite players on their team. Oh, I wonder if Jake can give me an autograph. O'Neal Cruz. He's their
O'Neal Cruz,
center fielder. And when I tell you that dude is a bad man, he's a bad man. He's probably about 6'7", 6'8".
Really?
Can fly. He can
O'Neal Cruz.
He can do it. I mean, he's a 5'6", 7-tool player.
He's a 7-tool player?
Round out.
Okay, and he's with the Pirates?
Yeah.
All right.
He's going to be your starting center fielder.
So he's just a dog.
Oh, he's incredible.
Okay.
Dominican.
Just a baller.
That's all he knows. He's play ball. He's 27 years old.
Yeah, I'll never forget Jake Mangum telling me about going down to the Dominican after his first year with the Mets and how that was. So he spent 4 or 5 weeks down there, like November, maybe into December, something like that, October into November. And he talked about the schedule, the regimen, he said, I finally realized why they have so many good players. You play 15 hours a day. That's all they do.
That's all they do.
He said you play you start at like 7 a.m. in the morning or something. You go all the way to 1 p.m. And he said, that's just warm up.
Right.
Then you start playing games. I was like, wow.
Yep, pretty much.
O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal. Here's one for Steve Palazzolo.
Okay.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz. I love that name.
I know, it's awesome. He's about 6'8" as well, plays shortstop. Switch hitting. Both of them, they're in the same division. They're the same age. It's cool.
What are they, like 24?
It's 27.
Okay, 27. That was a pretty good MLB hit right
Wasn't
there.
Bad.
That we incorporated Jake Mangum and Connor Griffin in.
Yeah, because they'll both be playing this year.
So, bam. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Lunch, Fleetway Market, the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Blue plates, yummy food, sandwiches. Back in a second.